Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Somos Mas, the official podcast of Somos Mas NM, and your source for the latest news and notes on New Mexico United and the New Mexico Runners. My name, of course, is Seth Bidoff. Thank you guys so much for joining us here on our socials, as we do each and every week. Joining me this week, we have Jacob Terrell, Earl Nieto, and Jacob is trying to beatbox.
What a professional there.
Yeah.
To get through that with just a small chuckle and not break. Like, there's been times when you've messed that up with nothing going on, and those were like in year one, and now you're just pushing through no matter what's going on.
Well, I'm trying to put those demo reels together,
Yeah.
Try to get my foot in the door somewhere.
Gonna get those out.
I also want to start a petition that Ken is better than Seth.
Who?
Ken
Stickinger?
Yeah.
Yeah. Ken smiled.
On
Ken
the sideline.
smiled after a goal in the dugout.
Ken does that. Yeah. Well, granted, you guys are down on the field, and yes, we do have rules that are supposed to follow up in the press box. But I will admit to a number of folks in the box getting excited about the goal on Wednesday night last week. So, or on Saturday before, I should say. So a lot of fun, a lot of good times to be had. So, man, we've got so much to get to this week. We've got roster news. We've got matches. We got 3 matches to talk about. We got 2 roster moves. We got some new kits. We got a whole bunch of stuff going on. So, my one burning question for the week: did you guys watch the All-Star game, and does it matter?
What All-Star game?
Major League Baseball All-Star game.
You mean there's
I guess
baseball?
I guess there's the answer to my question. Your question.
I didn't realize there was All-Stars in baseball. But listen, did you know it's impossible for most people to lick their elbows?
Yes.
Why don't you go ahead and try, Earl?
I've tried all day.
It's very on brand for Earl.
I can just see him just sitting at his desk at work going, no.
We'll have to confirm this with Earl's coworkers if we can.
Good thing I work alone.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if you guys didn't even know that the All-Star game was this week, then probably really doesn't matter all that much.
I am semi kidding. Like, I knew it was this week because I watched part of the home run derby yesterday, but by the time today came around, I didn't think of it at all.
Bottom of the 8th, 2 outs, 3-2 American League right now.
Yeah, I had no care in the world. I was too busy simulating my lawn mowing company.
I have to ask, Earl, did you start your pressure washing business?
Not yet. It's
okay.
My business registration is in process.
All right. Are you live streaming this? Can people watch you simulate, mowing lawns?
Oh, I'm getting ready to. I'm thinking August 1st I will start a live stream on the page here. So breaking news to everybody here that Earl is getting into the lawn mowing business, and he's also becoming a video game content creator.
The virtual lawn mowing business.
You know what's kind of funny? There's a decent chance that he ends up with more people watching him do that than we have on average on the podcast.
It's entirely possible. Video games are big business, man. They really are. They draw a lot of people. A buddy of mine, you've talked to him, Jason. He's gotten back in streaming again lately, and he's been streaming eFootball. So he's doing what would be called a viewers to glory. So anyone that comes in the channel can help influence what happens with his club. He's suggesting players to sign, things of that nature. What kit to wear, what club to represent. So early on in his viewers to glory, I did suggest that he sign Christian Nava and Danny Trejo. So,
also, in case you didn't know this, if you were to spend $1,000 and get yourself one of them fancy new PS5 things, and then turn around and spend an extra $327 on Amazon for NCAA 14, you can play NCAA 14 for a whopping $1,500.
It'll play it on the PS5?
Yes.
Wait, what?
Yeah, so there's a content streamer that I personally watch. So shameless plug for this guy. His Facebook page is Mac Daddy Dimes. He plays FIFA 14 every morning.
I'm just at a loss for how the PS5 is natively playing PS3 games.
It backtracks or back whatever the hell it's called.
It's backwards compatible to a PS3?
Yes. And actually, I believe it's backwards compatible to the PS1.
If I could play Twisted Metal on it, I am
Count me the
in.
fuck in.
I am in.
But can I play GoldenEye on it?
No, it's
What
an
What about your
N64.
brown eye? Hold on. What about the brown eye?
Okay, let's.
Whoa. We hadn't gone that far yet, Earl. But anyway, apparently the All-Star game is going on. No one is paying any attention to it whatsoever. Juan Soto, of course, won the home run derby last night. Apparently he had some monster shots. Did you guys watch the home run derby?
I did watch. I had it on my phone as we were being a family.
Okay.
Had the TV on and stuff too, so I didn't watch like every single moment of it, but I was kind of paying attention to it until everybody that I cared about was out of it, and then I was like, okay. So basically, I didn't watch the final.
Okay. Yeah, I had no interest, honestly. Like at this point, there's really not a lot of draw to the home run derby. I mean, I would much rather watch the Futures game, but even then, I still don't care about that much either. So,
Yeah, no one cares about baseball. Listen, did you know that most American car horns honk in the key of F, which is also the same key as a dial tone?
that is very random.
I don't like that chair.
I think that's probably the most off the wall one you've had yet, Earl. As Jacob walks away and Earl is continuing to drink his drink.
Yeah. So I am actually drinking. Another shameless plug. Diet A&W.
A&W, if you're listening, we are seeking sponsorships for the show.
Yes. So A&W and Mac Daddy Dimes. If you want to go ahead and just throw some cash this way, that'd be greatly appreciated. But if you don't, that also won't be. We won't take any offense to it. But we do have a show to get on to.
That we do.
But before that, listen. Did you know that Thomas Edison, the guy that invented the light bulb, the thing that's shining in my face right now, was afraid of the dark?
That I didn't know. That is interesting, Earl. Thank you for that factoid there. But yeah, as Earl said, we do have a lot to get to this evening. First up, we did want to touch on the USL Championship Team of the Week that got announced today. Alex Tambakis was named to the bench for the Team of the Week. I don't know what United's got to do to actually break into the starters of the Team of the Week. I feel like we've had some really strong performances, and you look at some of the guys who put out, mid-season Team of the Year. I feel like United really kind of got the shaft in a couple different positions. Like there are some guys that are putting together some really solid seasons for United that are just kind of getting left out. So, I mean,
can I ask who
got left out?
Yeah.
I feel like you could have put Will Seymour in there. I feel like you could have put Rashid in there. I feel like you could have put Christian Nava in there as like an honorable mention. I wouldn't say put our forwards in there because they haven't had a stellar year so far. But I mean, there's guys that could have definitely been mentioned. Alex is a guy that probably
hang on. So you said our forwards should not be put even in
Team of the Year,
mention?
mid-season Team of the Year. No.
Oh, Team of the Year. Sorry.
Yeah,
I was busy fantasizing about my lawn mowing business.
So my arguments, because I believe Seymour, I could see. The problem with Seymour is that he's basically played two positions. especially of late. So it's what position do you put him in? But he has been spectacular. Sheed, I don't think has played enough. Nava definitely hasn't played enough. Portillo would be the name that I would throw out there.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Portillo is probably the only one that I would have a problem with. Harry is just firing shots at Earl all the time, and it is hilarious.
Yep. Yeah, he is. Harry, glad to see you back in the chat, bud. We haven't seen you in a couple of weeks. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, I just want to throw that out there, get a quick thought on that. Congrats to Alex for making Team of the Week honors. Always a good week when United gets a shout there. Next up for New Mexico United news and notes, we did have 2 roster moves this week. The first of which being the signing of Romario Williams, former Charlotte Battery or Charleston Battery, former Atlanta United, former the Miami FC, former Jamaican international player. Romario Williams comes in on a free for the remainder of the season. This is a guy coming in who's had a number of career goals. I believe it's 52, 57, somewhere in there. Career goals coming in. A guy that's a proven scoring threat of every stop along the way. And so, Jacob, you and I were on that call. Earl, for whatever reason, was not.
He was working.
Well, so were we. So,
I mean, I wasn't while I was on the call, but I took a break from work to do it. I even changed my shirt and everything so that I wouldn't be all.
See, I couldn't because I was necktie and suit in Albuquerque, managing a region, being the only person in charge. So no, I couldn't just like walk away. And
did you have a computer? Did you have a computer at your desk?
No, I don't have a desk.
Commandeer one.
Phone?
I do have a phone.
I've done it from a phone.
You know what? Just carry on. Just carry on.
I'm sure David Carr would have given you a shout out if you'd shown up in a suit and tie, Earl.
With a new haircut too. He'd have loved that day.
That's actually the day I got a haircut too. So
that would have been hilarious.
So yeah, sitting on that call, talking to Romario. I mean, Jacob, what stood out to you bringing in Romario at that time?
As far as the press conference, or just the idea
press conference
of bringing him
signing in general, yeah.
I mean, we talked about it, and then hashtag Pete Leaks, because he's the best. And thanks for Earl for seeing that and sending it out to the group chat. Said stay tuned on a post about the attack on Facebook, and then not a couple hours later, we get a notification. Hey, gonna have a player announcement, and then 2:00 that day we get Romario in there, and I think that he's gonna be a fantastic addition to this team, whether it's working up top with Nico, giving Nico some breathers, because Nico's played probably more minutes than anybody on the team. I'll have that for us in just a few minutes. Or with Dev, if Dev can come back, and I don't know what's going on with Dev. I don't know if he's not healthy or what, but Dev coming back, Moreno coming back, Wean coming back, Moreno hopefully coming back anyways. There's just a lot there that I'm very excited about, and Romario just adds. I mean, he's a bit bigger than Nico. He talked in the press conference about his hold-up play, and then of course his finishing and whatnot. So I just think that it's going to be a very welcome addition, and I wouldn't be surprised if he takes off or sparks somebody else taking off.
Yeah, I made the comment over on Reddit that Romario is a guy that I've seen for a number of years, in his time with Atlanta United and Atlanta United too. And I think I said it over on Twitter as well. And we kind of talked about it in our group chat, talking about who this affected more. I kind of felt like it would affect Dev and Iliya more. Obviously, we'll get to the Iliya news here in just a second. Iliya no longer with the club. But yeah, Romario, like I said, he's not a guy. He's not going to outpace a ton of people. He does have really good hold-up play. He's a guy that, like you said, he's going to help spring some guys, and he is good with both feet. Mm-hmm. So he's a guy that's going to be able to get into the area and put some shots on frame for United.
Yeah, exactly. and I think I'm gonna love seeing him and Nico up top. And then he's got connections kind of all over this club. He mentioned playing with Portillo, and he actually played with Zach Prince, our head coach. Had Tim Bacchus over there. Had
Mike,
that's the other one, Azira. And then of course Nico and him are both from Jamaica. He said they played youth ball together. So there's a lot of familiarity between our club and him coming in, which should help with the transition for him. I would think that would help a little bit. He did mention in the press conference that he thought he was in pretty good shape coming in, and then he got a taste of the altitude, which is why he wasn't in the 18 Saturday. And I don't know if he'll be in the 18 this coming Saturday. I think he might be because we're playing in Detroit, but we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, there's a very real chance that he could be Saturday in Detroit. But yeah, it's funny because we talk about the altitude, and a lot of people bring it up, on the broadcast and across different places. But to hear a player the caliber of Romario, a guy who's been in the MLS, guy who's played internationally, come in and say, yeah, the altitude is absolutely a factor, because he didn't get into town until Tuesday of last week. So he'd been in town roughly 48 hours before the announcement. And so Friday was his first official day, like training with the club. So I think we'll see him get in there more or a little bit quicker than we saw Ratty make his development schedule.
Yes, for sure.
Because I think Romario is better suited to this style of play, this type of atmosphere, and the elevation, having been in different places. So
well, and Romario's position doesn't require near as much physically as a guy like Ratty, who's playing back line and almost a forward at times when in the attack, bombing up that side. Whereas, of course, Nico and them drop back to defend, but they're not, booking it back because they're not the last line of defense. They're more pressing either up high or dropping, just past midfield to try to win a ball. They're not going all out to get back. And so I definitely agree that we should see him a lot sooner or it should be a lot easier for him rather than Ratty making that transition.
Josh Carrillo over in the chat. Josh, how you doing this evening? Glad to see you, buddy. Yeah, Harry, we will absolutely get to that here in just a second. United making moves up the standings, to go up the standings. Nice to see. Yeah, it absolutely is. Yeah, so Earl, you've been in and around the socials. You spend a lot more time on Facebook than either of us do. I know, Jacob, you're still fairly active over there, but Earl, there's been a lot of talk over on Facebook about United's attack, the forwards not being involved as much, not scoring as many goals. Do you think the signing of Romario is going to help kind of quiet that down a bit? And what sort of impact do you see Romario making?
So first off, God, I hope it does quiet down the social medias, especially the guru, whose first name starts with a C. And Harry, I was actually never on MySpace. That's where all the cool cat and kittens were. That wasn't me.
Earl wasn't old enough.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to say. Earl doesn't even know what MySpace is. He thinks it's his personal bubble that nobody can come in and touch him.
Yeah,
that's what he thinks it is.
Yeah. So I'm hoping that with Romario coming in, it does quiet down the social media people, but I want to say it won't, because there's people like Cole who openly admitted on social media that he wants the club to play perfect every single game and win every single game like a
hairball.
A bug just flew out of Earl's mouth.
I don't know what the fuck's going on here. I don't know what just happened.
That was amazing.
Anyways, so Cole wants the club to play perfect and win every single match, supposedly. Fuck it, I'll say it like San Antonio. Which, Harry, if you can enlighten me on how perfect San Antonio plays and how they've won.
This is the wrong tree to bark at, bro.
But yeah, so I'm hoping it works. What was the second part of the
I think you covered. I
Yeah,
think you
that,
covered.
that kind of encompassed it there. So,
Good.
yeah, Romario Williams comes in, and like I said a few minutes ago, I felt like this was going to affect Dev and Iliya more than the other forwards, simply because of the fact that for me it comes from looking at Romario, seeing his style of play, and looking at how the other forwards play. So like Dev and Iliya, obviously more hold up guys. The guys are going to be more of the creators there inside the box for Nico or Preston. And we've already seen the news that came out. I believe was it yesterday? The club has mutually terminated, and the club and Iliya Ilic have mutually terminated the contract for the remainder of the season. So obviously disappointing to see Iliya go. He did have a couple wonder goals for New Mexico United over the past season and a half that he was here. But I mean, really, Iliya hasn't been seeing a whole lot of play time. He was injured for a bit this year as well, but the introduction of Romario was going to significantly cut the little playing time that he did have out, and I could see Iliya not being an option going forward. And I think there's concern there for Dev too, because I would, and I know Dev has come back from the heart condition, he's back playing, but I feel like Jerome has earned that spot over Dev, so I feel like Dev's playing time is going to go down, and I feel like Preston may get shifted more out wide. And Harry's answer here to Earl's question: San Antonio's not perfect, lost to Phoenix twice.
Which, I mean, that's like losing to a Premier League team, losing to a championship club at this point. I mean, that's sad. But you guys are kicking our butt in the standings, so I'm not going to say anything else.
Yeah, so I mean, going back and looking at the release of Iliya Ilic and what Harry said here about United making moves to go up the standings, I mean, do you feel like Iliya kind of got the short end of the stick here, or do you feel like this is something that was kind of coming for a while?
I mean, even if you look at last year, Iliya was kind of our break in case of emergency forward. It wasn't until we had just nobody up there. It wasn't until he didn't really start getting significant starts until Dev went out.
Mm-hmm.
And then Brian Brown, obviously the whole catastrophe there and trading him away. And so we were pretty thin up top. And then this year you look at it and Preston, Jerome, Nico, Dev, and now Romario. There was just not enough minutes to go around to keep everybody happy. I'm thinking that we've seen the last of Preston up top, aside from a few spot starts or spot chances here and there, which we can argue. Break the internet, Brown. Yes. We can argue over who it affects more night and day. I think it affects Preston more because it's changing his position and he's taking, have the minutes up here right here. He has played 939 minutes, and I'd be willing to bet that all of them are up top. And now he's going to take that 939 minutes and not play another minute up top, possibly. Whereas Dev's played 46 minutes in 3 matches. That's probably about what he's going to continue to get. So I don't think it really changes anything for Dev. Moves Preston. Ilic, obviously, it changed his trajectory quite a bit. He's only played 6 minutes this entire season. Who do you think leads the team in minutes?
They actually said this on the broadcast the other night. I believe it is Justin Portillo.
Seth, do you have a guess?
I did just guess.
Sorry, Earl, do you have a guess?
Brett.
No, Brett is third. Justin is first. Who's second?
Tembakis.
No, actually.
No, because he missed 4 matches.
Yeah.
I would say it's Will.
Yeah, it's Will. I don't know why I thought that was freaking hilarious, Earl, but it was hilarious. So yeah, do you guys think that we make any more moves?
Yeah. I think we see something in the midfield. someone to play more of that cam role. I mean, Sergio, Bees, and Christian have all been good at times, but Christian, to me, is very limited by his size. And when you go up against a team like Birmingham that does close down well, then he's going to have some issues. Bees has been inconsistent. Yes, he has had some injuries. And I noticed he was on the injury report on the infographic Saturday. He wasn't on our match notes, so I don't know what the issue is there. And as far as Sergio has been wildly inconsistent, and we said it last week.
No, he hasn't. He's been bad. He's just been bad.
I would say playing in the midfield, yes. Playing as a forward, no. So that's why I say wildly inconsistent, because there's no consistency between how he plays in the different roles that he's been in. Like when he's been up top, he's been fantastic. But when he's been in the midfield, he hasn't been that engine that we need. So
I don't know if I'd say fantastic, but he has been better up top. I don't know if he's been fantastic.
Harry, the answer to that is Justin Portillo.
But it's because he had the answer.
I didn't actually have it up. They said it on the broadcast Saturday.
Yeah,
so
we weren't all privileged enough to watch the broadcast on Saturday.
Yeah.
Instead, we were busy baking in the oven.
Yeah, it was rather hot on Saturday, so I'm impressed.
Not as bad as today.
No,
today was gross.
Today was miserable, man. I tell you, I went out for a run last night. I went up to Jerry Klein Park, and
you're running at night in that neighborhood.
It was
Rachel. Whoa!
Hey, Rachel, glad to have you. Appreciate you dropping by. Yeah, no, it was.
Well, I gotta be on my best behavior because Rachel's here.
It was like 95 degrees up until about 8:30 last night. It was miserable. Like, yeah, but once the sun went down, like if you could feel the temperature drop, and like by the time I got done, it was like 9 o'clock, and it was right around 90 degrees. So, but yeah, I mean, I told you guys I tried to run middle of the afternoon, and I nearly died of heat stroke. So. Yeah, I'll run at 7:30, 8 o'clock, you know.
So Josh actually brought up a good point. So your shirt right now has blue and red. So which one do you rep?
Don't say anything with the neighborhood that you will say one or the other, and there will be a knock at your door.
When I was out there one day, I was actually wearing a white T-shirt, so you know I don't think I was offending anybody with those colors.
Yeah, you fit right in. Was it one of them strapless bra types ones?
No, it was not. It was a Salt Life shirt.
What are you talking about?
Oh, Earl, thanks so much for that. But yeah, so Iliya's gone, Romario's in. We kind of talked about how it affects different players. Did we see another signing coming? I said something on the midfield. Jacob, what do you think about that?
I think you're right, and I think the back line is crowded as it is. It's we've had injuries back there all year and still have been able to produce. If everybody's healthy, it's going to be hard to get everybody playing time. So I think the back line's pretty good. Keeper position, I think we're pretty much set. Unless Alex goes down with like a long injury, then I imagine we'll bring somebody in. I noticed Cody's still listed on the active roster, so I don't know what's going on there. If we could bring him back or not, probably not, but I don't know. We just talked about the forward position and how there wasn't enough minutes to go around for Iliya. So, so the only place that I can really think of that we could use some help is midfield. And honestly, I mean, you look at our roster there, and obviously Portillo. We've seen Seymour get minutes there. We've seen Sam get minutes there. We've seen Weehan. We've seen Rivas. We've seen Nava. We've seen Azira.
Is it safe to say we've seen everyone but Tambakis in that position?
No, it's not. Actually, we've seen about a third.
Because you just named about the entire starting lineup.
No, because we haven't seen Iliya, we haven't seen Devin there, we haven't seen Ford Parker there, we haven't seen Radley there, we haven't seen Cody Mizell there, we haven't seen Kiesewetter there, we haven't seen Suggs there, we haven't seen Yearwood there. Do you want me to keep going? Because there's a lot more names that I can list here. But one player that we've talked about a few times, but hasn't really got a chance in that midfield, and I would love to see him in there for Weehan. With Weehan being out, I don't know why he hasn't gotten a chance at least to come in as a sub, a substantial sub. He's come in. We've seen him a few times come in with like 5-10 minutes left. But Carlfred Sainty, like, is a guy that we heard the coaching staff praise in preseason. We saw glimpses of it through the preseason and in practices. And I don't know. I mean, he's a kid. He's like 18 or 19.
19. Yeah.
So that could be part of it. Is he just needs to get that cerebral part of the game down a little bit more. But I would love to see him get a chance to actually go out and, get a start, get 30 minutes, come in like, 60-minute mark, something like that. And actually try to find a groove in an actual match and do it. So very kind of you, Rachel. Glad to see you on Saturday. And
I miss you already.
The next one. Hi, Day. Bye, Day.
Rachel, we appreciate y'all stopping in. We really do. Hopefully we'll see you guys out there here in a couple weeks.
So yeah, Sainty. I would like to see Sainty get some run, but with trying to win a championship, counting on a 19-year-old, no matter how much potential he has, might not be the best way to win a championship. So I wouldn't mind seeing a proven midfielder come in and be able to get some minutes there. But it's really that like you said, that attacking that attacking midfielder, that's Cam role, where we see Weehan in there quite a bit, but Weehan obviously has been injured quite a bit, and we could use somebody else to be able to take that role over.
Earl, do you have anything else to add to that? Do you feel like there's a different position we need to bring someone in? I know over on the subreddit, some folks were saying on Saturday that it was time to end the Seymour and Hamilton midfield experiments, when most people, for whatever reason, don't realize those guys actually came in as midfielders. They've just been playing on the back line for out of necessity, because of injury and things like that. So, Earl, do you think there's another change that needs to be made?
So I will say my thought.
Like how he's talking in the mic like this. Like, well, I don't know.
You guys hate me, don't you? I have to edit that.
No. Leave it in. Leave it in.
So my opinion is, I think we bring someone in the midfield or the back line in case of an injury. Someone for a break in case of an emergency. That's my opinion. The subreddit opinion is that they bring in a new head coach.
That's the opinion of about one person on the subreddit right now. So, I don't think that's the answer there at all. But yeah, I don't think we're done seeing signings. I think there may be one, maybe two more. There was a rumor that got started, apparently, thanks to Google.
Apparently, I'm here to dispel that rumor. It is not true.
There you go. Yeah, some goalkeeper, apparently, according to Google, was a part of New Mexico United. A young man by the last name of Mercado. That is not accurate. He is in no way affiliated with the club. So yeah, if you see that anywhere, it's not factually true. But yeah, it's been a busy week. We had the big roster news happen over the past few days. We did have two matches last week. Obviously, New Mexico United went out to FC Tulsa last Wednesday night, picked up a 2-1 win out there. Guys, let's get some quick thoughts on this match here. In particular, I want to talk a little bit about the 5 to 10 minute window there between the own goal, the corner leading up to the own goal, and then the follow-up goal from United. Like, do you feel like the referee had the call wrong there on the corner compared where a lot of folks said it shouldn't be a corner? I don't think it should have been, from watching the replays that I saw, and then how United responded to that and picked up the penalty at the other end.
Okay, I guess I'll go, Earl. I didn't really see the build up to that play, and I didn't realize that it was a issue until after the fact, when the announcers were talking about it after we got the PK.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't bother to go back and look. I just kind of said it. Well, if the home announcers are saying that it probably should have been a corner kick, then it probably should have been a corner kick. or shouldn't have been a corner kick. I mean, so I didn't go back and look at that. The PK is what the PK is. There was contact, not a lot, probably not enough for a penalty. Kiesewetter sold the crap out of it, and we got the call. To the fans that were complaining, I don't understand why. I get that it's not fun necessarily to get a PK call on a sell job, but half the time our guys try to sell a PK and then we don't get the call anyways. So at least we got a goal and got 3 points out of it. If you're mad at that, I don't understand what you want. If you're complaining about the team not performing and then getting a win and getting 3 points and complaining about how we got the 3 points, I don't know what to tell you. I don't think you'll ever be happy.
Earl, I want to follow
this, or with your spouse, or with your job, or
Earl, I want to follow that up and take it over to you. There is one comment in particular I saw on Facebook. And again, you guys know that I'm not big on Facebook. I don't post a lot over there. Someone said it went against the core values of the club. Like, how far off do you have to be, or how far off base do you have to be to make that sort of a comment when there's never been anything about drawing PKs as part of the core values of the club?
You realize you asked the wrong person this, right?
No.
You asked the one guy who has zero filter. So I'm gonna try to be professional on this one, and I'm gonna tell him that whoever says that is stupid, because I mean, at the end of the day, at the end of the 90 minutes, your goal is to walk away with 3 points. Okay, I don't know what Harry just said. He must be drunk already.
No, it makes perfect sense if you are a rational human being, Earl.
Well, good thing I'm not rational. I don't have any rashes anywhere, to be honest. But I got that cleared up. Just kidding. So like I said though, at the end of the day, your job is to get 3 points, whether it's a sell job in a penalty box, or scoring a goal the next match in a minute and something seconds, or 9 seconds, whatever the hell it was. All I know is I blinked and we were scoring. Kind of impressed, but whatever. So at the end of the day, you do what you have to win. That does not go against any of the team ethics or anything. I'm going to stop now so I don't say anything stupid.
Well, I was curious about that, because obviously there was a lot of fan reaction, even from the United fan base, in the negative about how that sequence played out. I mean, obviously, no, there should not have been a corner for FC Tulsa in that instance, and it was really unfortunate the way that the clearance happened, and went off of Rashid's head and right back into like complete and utter like fluke of a thing. Like, you can't blame anybody for that. Like, it's just, it is what it is. But down at the other end, and to Harry's point here, Harry says it wasn't a PK. Was there a foul in the box? I believe so. Yes. You can't wrap up a player like that. You can't. Was it soft? Absolutely. It was insanely soft. Was Kiesewetter's sell of that a Yuma style action? Absolutely. Should there a foul have been called on Kiesewetter? I don't think so. I mean, that foul there, that call there, was no worse than the sell jobs that Yuma has done for El Paso. And
I've also seen worse
for them.
I've also seen worse from Yuma, or from someone else that's not named Yuma, whose name also has 2 letters in it instead of 4. I'll stop there so I don't say anything stupid.
Comment over here in the chat from Josh Greer. These guys that comment have no idea what it takes to play the sport or coach the sport. It's easy to point fingers and blame everyone. Just ask Cowboys fans. I'm tired of all the negative comments. Just support the club, which a lot do, but we can't win them all. Which I think is absolutely correct. I mean, it's unrealistic, Cole, to expect the club to play perfectly in every single match and to walk out of the season with a perfect record. It's unrealistic.
Should we bring Cole on the pod?
I don't care. Try. we've tried to bring other people on, and people have ignored us. So if he wants to come on, let him come on. Like, I have no problem with that.
No, he doesn't like us because he thinks that we are defending the team for being mediocre.
Oh well,
He obviously doesn't listen to the pod.
clearly not.
He obviously he has no idea what mediocre is, because if you look at me, I'm quite mediocre.
Some would argue a little below mediocre, but
And I said
I
mediocre.
wouldn't argue that.
Not
but
mediocre.
mediocre.
Carry on.
We have the option to ignore the podcast. Well, crap. I didn't know that was an option. No, Harry, you are obligated to
Yeah, you're like you're the backup, so we'll let you know when we miss on air. That way, you know the next week that you're on call.
Harry, I thought you've been ignoring the podcast for like a month and a half now.
Wait, I thought he ignores it while he's here.
But yeah, going back to Tulsa, looking at that, I mean, Ratty Ovuka had a fantastic match. I thought Ratty played really well. I would also argue that Alexis Swahi had a fantastic match. There were some guys that put in some great shifts on Wednesday night at Tulsa. Who stood out to you guys?
Oh, Ratty by a mile. Got the hockey assist on the goal.
Mm-hmm.
Was just kind of all over the place. Was in the other team's face. He looked like a blasphemous, I know, but he looked like a younger Josh Suggs out there to me. Just the way he was attacking, the way he was dropping back to defend, the way he was getting in people's faces. He impressed the heck out of me. And we talked about his signing in particular this offseason. He was a Ghanaian Premier League, correct? Yeah. Arguably, from everything we saw from the fans of Heart of Oaks, where he came from, as well as just social media for the Ghanaian Premier League anyways, that he was one of the top 2 left backs in the Premier or in that league. And we really wanted to see how that kind of transferred to us. And I think we've kind of seen in the brief glimpses of him that we've got that it transfers pretty well. He's come in and I think he had a little bit of a slow start. We talked about him having to get used to the elevation and get in shape over here. But I think now that he's kind of found his sea legs, so to speak, he's looked fantastic every chance that he's been out there. And I hope that we can see him a little more often. I wouldn't mind seeing him a little more than Suggs during the regular season, keep Suggs fresh and healthy, and being able to go into the playoffs with everybody kind of have the same minutes on their legs instead of a couple people like Suggs having a ton. Especially with a guy like Suggs who's been in the league for a long time, you want to get him a little bit of rest and have everybody be healthy going into the playoffs. I don't know why we wouldn't see Ratty in there a little more often.
Yeah, and you could hear it on the FC Tulsa broadcast, as poor as it was on Wednesday night. They were just like praising Ratty the entire night for the job that he did over there on that left side against McFarland. And like he basically just shut down that left side defensively. And then going forward, you could see, and it's something we've talked about before, his ability to get forward and drive the ball all the way down to the byline, drawing defenders and then trying to play that ball back in. And yes, he took a couple ill-advised shots, but just his ability to play on the dribble, which is something that Zach has talked about. Guys who have the ability to do that are going to make a difference in this club. And we saw Ratty do that on Wednesday at Tulsa.
Mm-hmm. Fully agreed.
Earl, was there anyone else that stood out to you Wednesday night?
Earl doesn't remember yesterday.
So, yeah. So
I don't know why you had to take that shot, Josh. Sorry. It was a random. I've been to Tulsa. It's a fine city. Go ahead, Earl.
He also lives in Fort Sumner, so it's whatever. So Josh, that's a good call. But anyways,
I do not live in Fort Sumner. Thank you.
Sorry. He used to live in Fort Sumner, and even he had to move out of Fort Sumner.
I didn't have to.
Anyways, I have 2 answers.
Okay.
One logical and one kind of a troll answer.
Well, that's not saying a lot because my hair and beard are spectacular, Josh. So, thank you.
So my first answer is exactly what you guys both said is Ratty.
Ready.
He played phenomenal from what I did have a chance to watch.
That was the crowd going wild for Ready.
Oh, I thought it was If you have kids, I just used a Moana quote.
Yes, you did.
Did you? I missed it. I was reading Harry's quote. Cool. Harry's comment.
Anyways, you're doing the crowd.
Wait, time out. What was your Moana quote? It's
You're
like my
doing the
favorite
crowd
Disney
cheering the
Yeah.
and I did the you're so awesome.
Oh, okay. Good job.
See, now I have kids and I know that movie.
You're welcome.
Earl, you gonna finish your thought? Or
Josh, that's also where I moved to Fort Sumner from, so I feel personally attacked on this podcast.
I'm also trying to finish my answer. Anyways, like I was trying to say before Moana came into play, Ratty was my man of the match. He played lights out. He played fantastic, minus the few mental lapses that he had, but overall he played a pretty good game. My troll answer was Kiesewetter.
Yeah. Okay. So the thing about Kiesewetter, and I know that, and I appreciate Harry's comment over in the chat. Zach Prince is the man of the match, timing the subs. Absolutely, that had a huge impact on the outcome of the game. But over the past few weeks, Jerome Kiesewetter is a guy who, to me, has shown that he's still got the ability to draw attention in the final third. He's a guy that's going to hold the ball up well. He can still get a good shot off every now and then. And he's a guy that still has that fire there, that he can have an impact on a match. Is he a 90-minute guy every single match? No, absolutely not. I thought it was kind of amazing the amount of minutes that he's seen over the past couple of weeks. But I think even with you trolling it and saying that Jerome your troll pick for man of the match on Wednesday night, like I still feel like he's done well the past few weeks that he's been in there.
And he has. I mean, he scored a goal in the fastest time in United history.
Yes, we're going to get right to that. And we can go use that as our segue there. But yeah.
Well, yeah, I'll just stop.
Well, if you're going to bring it up, we may as well go into it. On Saturday, of course, New Mexico United and Pittsburgh Riverhounds got into action down at the Lab. First time ever meeting between the two clubs. And as Earl mentioned, Jerome Kiesewetter scored the fastest regular season goal in New Mexico United history. 50 seconds on the clock. New Mexico United took an early lead in that one. Great play going forward. Will Seymour with the interception plays the ball over to Nico Brett, who then laid it off to Jerome Kiesewetter over off the right. And Earl, let's continue your thought process here. I mean, Jerome's played well in the past few weeks. What do you think it is about this opportunity for Jerome that he's been able to take advantage of?
I think just I actually don't know, because watching him on TV versus watching him in person, it's kind of frustrating because on TV you don't see the small mental mistakes that he makes more often than not. I did say small because they're not like game altering or turnover worthy mistakes, but they're not seeing a pass here or not making the assist there. Those are just the small ones right there. But he's played fantastic for the past 3 matches, 2.5 matches ish, something like that. To be able to continue the start, do I see him starting in the near future? No, I don't see him starting Sunday, and I don't or Saturday. Yeah, Saturday. And I don't see him starting the next couple matches just to get Romario started and get him some confidence in playing time with his new teammates. I will say though, and Jacob can vouch for this because he was standing right next to me. We didn't even see that goal go in because we were still trying to get our little bibs on, and Jacob started to comb his hair and brush his teeth and shower, shave.
I'm relatively sure we both saw that goal go in. I'm relatively sure we both saw the turnover. I know I saw the turnover, and I saw the pass, and got excited, and then he scored, and we all got really excited. But
I saw the pass and tried to get my phone out, and by the time I actually reached in my pocket,
that's what it was. We saw the turnover, and then you went to go reach for your phone, and that's why you didn't see the goal, because you were reaching for your phone trying to get it on film.
Well, yeah, because it kind of is my job to take pictures and whatnot.
Hey, I took pictures. You saw the picture I posted today, right? Right?
No.
Right? I took that picture. I took it, Earl.
Which picture?
Not you on your crappy phone. I took it with my crappy camera.
I, sir, have an iPhone.
Oh, Austin. Yes. Harry Austin with the shots. I love it.
I was prepared the rest of the match, though. Not that it mattered, but I was prepared the rest of the match.
Yeah, because we didn't score again.
We saw you guys quite a few times on the broadcast down there at the north end in the second half.
Oh, yeah. I'm always down there. Yeah. My family sees me all the time on it.
Yeah, we're trying to be famous, trying to get our name out.
I need to watch the match with the wind and the weather. What match was that?
Saturday
RGV?
before.
Yeah. I need to watch that one because if they didn't show us busting our butts trying to pick up signage when the wind blew it over, I'm gonna be very upset.
I don't know if I saw that or not, but yeah, you guys definitely got some props from the club for helping out there. So
yeah, it was a shit show.
was it on air that they said, "Hey, shout out to those two
random people
running around the freaking pitch picking up signs when it's not even part of their job"?
No, but
they're both wearing white, by the way.
Yeah, there was a comment made in the press box about the two of you wearing white and picking up the dirty signage after it fell over. So
it did get my shirt did get stained. So, or David, or if you're listening to this, I'll take a replacement in extra large if you got
one. But yeah, Saturday, Pittsburgh obviously came in. Pittsburgh is both clubs are sitting fourth place in their respective conferences. Pittsburgh has had an interesting season. We saw a match early on, and we kind of talked about it way back when Bob Lilly ran like a 3-6-1 formation, and they've Bob Lilly, obviously, one of the big names in the USL Championship in U.S. soccer. He's been playing around with his lineup quite a bit, and so as this match progressed, yes, United looked the better side in the first half, but Pittsburgh really started to play their way into it. And then in the second half, obviously, we saw Pittsburgh come back and pick up the tying goal from Dane Kelly. Dane Kelly, obviously the all-time USL goals leader. What do you think changed after halftime, Jacob, that allowed Pittsburgh to get back into this match and pick up the equalizer?
They brought on Dane Kelly. And Dane Kelly's a split second faster than Kalen Ryden. That's really all. Go ahead, bash him. Bash him so I can bash you, please.
You want to bash Kalen Ryden? And this is something I've said a couple times this season. Kalen Ryden appears to have lost a step. He's still tactically one of the best defenders in the league, I feel like, especially the mental awareness, mental tactics. But physically, I don't think he's there where he was last season. We've seen a couple times here, he's gotten beat on those balls, and he's not getting back. And it's
that's probably the worst.
At least two goals.
That's probably the worst take I've ever heard in my life.
I don't know about that. I've heard some of your takes, Earl.
Yeah, but that was pretty much on par with some of the shit that I've said before. So listen, did you know it's impossible to hum while you hold your nose?
No, we're not doing this right now, bro. I'm
curious. I'm curious. How is this an Earl take right now? That's what I'm curious about. How is this an Earl take?
Because you're talking about two plays. You're talking about. I know that there's been a few times a few other times that ball hasn't gone in the back of the net.
Yeah.
But you're talking about two goals that both come off probably the best one-touch springs for a forward I've ever seen in my life. One was a side foot kind of just, and then one was a header from Rodrigo da Costa against Tulsa. That I don't think it was him not having the speed. I think it was him maybe getting caught a little bit flat-footed because they were unexpected first touch passes. But at the end of the day, they were both like centimeter perfect passes that led to two of the quicker forwards in the league. Brian Brown, who we saw, granted he didn't do a lot and he damn sure didn't break the internet, but we saw him he was very capable getting out in front or getting out behind the defense and taking a shot like that. And then the one with Dan Kelly, it's freaking Dan Kelly. He ran at it at the perfect angle, got to it just a hair before Kalen could, and nutmegged Tambakis. There are plays that 9 times out of 10, that pass doesn't even get to where it's supposed to go because it's just a hard play to make. And then the other time, usually the defender gets a foot to it or something. And these were just that perfect that they couldn't do it. And if you look, and then he did have the one where he went to go kick it and just completely whiffed on Saturday night. But that can happen. We've seen Premier League guys do that. So I'm not going to fault him for that. It happens sometimes. But those two plays in particular that you text us about right after they happened, saying that he got beat again, it wasn't him getting beat. It was a pass that was perfect that beat him. It wasn't him getting beat. Has he lost a step? Probably. That's kind of what happens, especially when you find out you're going to become a dad and you have an injury that took away time from you earlier this year, which I believe was a lower body injury or a leg injury of some kind, which will take away some of your endurance, some of your what the hell is the word I'm looking for? You know what I mean? So I don't think it's him losing a step in old age. I think it's him losing a step maybe this year because of an injury and, becoming a dad and this and that and the other, or about finding out you're going to become a dad. But those two plays in particular, I think you can look at a few plays and say he should have made this play. He lost a step. I don't think those two plays are indicative of his ability right now. They were just perfect plays from the offense.
Yeah,
and I fully agree with Harry here because of the shit take. That's what I agree with. Thank you, Harry, for backing me up on that. Love you.
I mean, obviously, we're all entitled to our opinions. Like, I watch the game a little bit different than you guys do.
You don't, though.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Are you sure? You really don't think that we watch the game differently?
You see different things. I don't think we watch the
Okay.
game. Me and you watch it differently than Earl.
Yeah.
But I am late to the soccer game. I haven't watched a lot of soccer in my life, but I have dug deep the last 4 years, specifically at tactics and things like that. And I see several things that you say that you will see differently than everybody else, or than both of us. I see them too. I just perceive them a little differently.
Oh, you're fun, Harry. You're so much fun. I don't know. I watched Kalen.
Good job, Earl.
And I don't know. Maybe it is the injury. I mean, he definitely does look a step slow. He definitely doesn't seem to have the same reaction time, even before he went out with the injury. Like, I don't know. Kalen, to me, I feel like he's lost a little bit from last year, and I don't think he's exactly the same. I think the mental acuity is there in terms of like tactics and being and things like that, but the reaction time, the speed, I don't think it's there. So, and we've seen him get beat times this year, and he's been kind of bailed out at times by Austin or Rosh getting back and helping defend. So I don't know. It's just something I've been watching this season, something I'm going to keep watching going forward.
It's because I agree that he's not the same as he was last year. I can also make an argument that he's been better this year than last year, because last year he had a lot of brain farts. Last year we saw him make several bad passes that either led to goals or led to really good opportunities. And we haven't really seen that aspect from him this year. But and maybe it's just the way I'm not sure exactly where you're going with this. I don't know if you're saying like he's washed and he's not going to be the same player ever again, or if he's just taking a step back this season, or what you're saying. But it sounds to me like you're like out on Kalen Ryden as a top tier defender in this league, and I just don't see that. And then it's also, like I said, you can point to several other plays where I think he's gotten beat. Those two in particular are not plays that I think he's gotten beat on.
I don't think he's washed. I don't think he's the central guy in a 3-back system anymore. I don't think he is. I think you need someone like Will back there, and maybe we've seen Kalen play that left center back role. I think that's more where he's at. Not necessarily the far left back, not that, like a left center back, but definitely not the central guy in that 3-back system, because he has lost that step. If you got a guy like Will who's a little bit quicker on the ball and quicker to get back and make recovery runs, or something like Austin or something that can drop back and put that help in there, that's where I think Kalen is. Put him out like the left center back.
If you move him back out, he's one of his nicknames is the Golden Helmet, because he's really the only center back that we have that I feel 100% confident going up for a header against a center forward and winning it. So if you move him out of that central position and move him out to left or right, towards the left or the right side, you take away that aspect of his game that we don't have anybody to replace him with. I'm sorry, if you put Will back there, he's not winning those headers. And that opens up another vulnerability there. Because Kalen, to me, has never been a blazing speed type of guy. Even in year one with us, when he was so spectacular for our back line, he wasn't, oh shit, I got to get back and turn on the jets to get back. He was always cerebral with it and kind of knew a step ahead of when he needed to start dropping back. And so I see where you're coming from. I just don't see, I can't make the connections to certain things that you're making. Like, I definitely wouldn't move him out of that center spot in the back three. I just would never do that.
Well, I don't disagree with you that he's the best that we have in those types of situations, going up against the center forward for an aerial. But I just think that I just don't think he's the best suitor for that the center guy in the 3-back system. You play 4 at the back, I think you're fine with him. But in that 3-back system, I don't think he's the right fit anymore. That's why I say if you move him out to like the left center back role and put a guy like Will in there, that still gives you Kalen with the ability and the opportunity to drop into the box and play those balls. But I think it gives him a little bit more freedom to kind of drop back a little bit sooner and make up for some of those for that lack of a first step.
But if I'm looking at that, I'm attacking down his wing every time. If he has lost a step, I'm attacking down that wing. And then not only if he's lost a step that much, if you're attacking down that wing, you have a chance to beat him just in a foot race. But then also, if you send a cross in from his side, if he's trying to get to the ball instead of being in the box, he's not going to be able to go up for headers. And you're going to have Will, who's significantly smaller and not as big of a jumper. And is also not young, by the way, which I keep forgetting, because you see him out there and you see him running like crazy. And then I think he's like 31, 32 even, maybe. I don't know. I'll have to look that up. But if I saw them move to a side, I would be concerned. Maybe next year, you're right. Maybe next year we figure something else out if we're going to stick with the back three. But as far as this year is concerned, I think he's our best option by a mile in that center back, in that central center back.
He's also 31.
Back. Yeah, he's 31.
Kalen or Will?
Kalen.
What's Will? Because Will is the one that I thought is the one that I was talking about, seeing him run around everywhere.
Will's 30. 30?
Oh, okay. So I I can agree that he might have lost a step this year. I can disagree vehemently that he is not our best option back there and shouldn't be in the center in the middle of a back three.
Harry, I'm not walking it back. I'm not. Like, I feel like, I said what I said. That's how I feel. That's how I viewed Kalen this year, looking back at the tape. And so, not walking that back at all. I think he's still a viable option in the back. I just don't think he's the center guy in a 3-back system. If you've got the additional support from another center back, and then you've got the left and right backs coming down to support or put him, like I said, put him on the left. You've got someone like Will in behind. I think you've got enough support for Kalen there. But like I said, the center guy in a 3-back, I just don't think he fits there right now. But anyway, back to Saturday night. Obviously, United gave up another lead at the Lab. The United is now, I believe it's 2-1-6 at home this season.
I've got it right here. 3-1-5.
I was close. 3-1-5 at the Lab compared to 6-2-2 on the road. I mean, Earl, what is it right now about United at home that we just can't find the same results that we do on the road?
I don't know what it is. For one, I'm not a professional soccer coach or a professional analyst. But I will say we've only lost one game at home. Granted, we have 5 draws or whatever the hell the number was. But really, it's only one loss at home. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, there was a post on Facebook Sunday morning, late Saturday night. We haven't lost at home since April.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. I love the post was from David Carl, and it's absolutely right. We haven't lost at home since April. We are still, we still do have an admirable home record, but there just doesn't seem to be the same level of intensity or ability to close out matches. And I don't know what it is, but when
really,
I was watching,
what it is, we decide to tone it down a little bit around the 70th, 75th minute into the 80th minute. And that's when teams get comfortable and they score. That's when they start pressing us because they see everyone just hanging out, camped out in the back, and they just find their way to make it through and score.
That
Jacob,
wasn't the case Saturday at all.
Jacob, it's my time.
But that wasn't the case Saturday at all.
Quiet coyote.
I have the power, remember, Earl? I didn't think that was the case at all. I thought the second half of this Pittsburgh match was fairly even. I felt like we had attacking moments throughout the second half, even before we gave up the tying goal. So that could be said in some of the other matches that we've had, yes. But I didn't see that this match. I didn't really see it in the RGV match when it was raining like that. I didn't think we really packed it in then either. I've talked about this before. If you're the club that is down a goal in the last 15, 20 minutes, you're just going to have the ball more in most cases. If the teams are at all even, which I think in the USL, from top to bottom, aside from like the very tippy top and the very bottom, looking at you, Phoenix, all the clubs are pretty even. And when you have clubs that are pretty even, if the team that's down by a goal in the last few minutes, they're going to have the ball more. And it's your job to defend it. I think our biggest problem has been defending set pieces. I know that's not how they scored Saturday, but if you look at the 3 goals that we've given up in in stoppage time, I think they've all been in stoppage time or like at the 89th minute or 90th minute or into stoppage time. They've all come off of set pieces. Every single one of them. Orange County, Oakland, and shit. Help me out here, guys. What was the last one that we gave up off a set piece? Was it RGV? Had to have been RGV. Thanks for the help.
I think so. Harry's point, Harry, you are correct. The post that was on Facebook did say April. That's why it's just in all of our heads April. But yeah, no, we did lose the Birmingham in June. You are correct.
Yeah, it had to be RGV. So those three things were all off set pieces, which is just it was that's been a huge bugaboo for us. And yes, I just said bugaboo. Get over it. And without those set piece lapses, and we've talked about set piece defense several times where it hasn't even given up a goal. It just hasn't looked pretty and has been like heart stopping because you think, oh shit, they're going to score here. And then somehow we get a miraculous clearance. But then eventually if they get enough chances, which they're going to when they have the ball a little bit more than us, and they're really trying to get a point out of it, they're going to get some corners and they're going to get some fouls. And then that leads to set piece chances, which when you don't have a set piece defense leads to goals at times. And that's kind of where we're at right
now. So I do kind of want to agree with Earl here on this statement I made, because I was live tweeting the match on Saturday, and I do agree, because if you watch, I think it's right around the 50th, maybe the 60th minute, you could see United start to drop people back. And I think Zach addressed this in the presser. You do see United drop back behind the ball and start to give up a lot of possession, or give up a lot of ground to Pittsburgh. And it's from that point on that Pittsburgh really starts to push that issue. And so I have to go back. I have to watch some more matches, but I want to say that it's pretty consistent in a number of home matches where we do start to drop behind the ball and give that possession up. Now there were a few where we started that way and tried to play off the counter, but you're up 1-0. You've got to keep pressing that ball. You've got to keep going forward. You can't drop back and allow other teams to come and impose what they want to do, or try to impose what they want to do on your home field.
Yeah, I mean, and maybe when you're down where we are on that touchline on the north end, like you were talking about earlier, our defensive shape is kind of hard to really see. I was just mainly going off of, it was pretty even as far as time spent looking down at that far end at them attacking and looking up at us attacking. And not even possession didn't seem that off in the second half. It felt pretty even to me there. I wish USL Championship would break down the first and second half possession on the stats website, but they do not. So have to figure out a different way to look that kind of stuff up. But it was in what it felt like to me. I haven't rewatched it, which I need to, but we don't all work from home like some people. Earl doesn't work from home either. Just Seth. And so it's.
I don't want to hear it there, Captain. I live on the beach.
It's really not much of a beach, but appreciate it. Seth, I'll take your word for it being up there and being able to see it a little bit more, but I didn't feel like they dominated possession in the second. They might have had some more, but I didn't feel like they dominated possession in the second half. And I also didn't feel like they had way more chances in the second half than we did. I feel like there were several times where we had corners, or we had Preston driving right at me and Earl at times and crossing it back. Earl did not get taken out like he did against the RGV game. I thought we lost him there for a minute when Suggs just completely ran into him. But I don't think that's the problem, because I don't see why that would change versus home and on the road.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. There's just something about
second half, Harry.
The mentality there. That's okay. That just, I don't know. And people keep bringing it up. People keep talking about social media. People keep talking about it. And Zach, he's kind of addressed it a few times, saying, hey, maybe we backed off a little too early in places. But yeah, something that United has to figure out. I mean,
we even outpossessed them in the second half.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it wasn't even necessarily. I mean, they did pick up more possession in the second half than what they had in the first. But when you start dropping back behind the ball like that,
the space,
the spacing, and it allows them to get more opportunities on goal.
Which is funny though, because the goal that they scored wasn't on a we were dropped back behind the ball. It was we got beat on a ball,
Yeah.
a through ball.
Oh yeah, no, it's there. Obviously, we all know there's any number of ways and opportunities that the goals are going to come from, but yeah, Riverhounds just they played better in the second half, in my opinion. They made them the most of the opportunities that they had, and we didn't. So I mean, obviously, we do still end up with the 1-1 draw. 5 matches unbeaten now. We head into Saturday, the away match at Detroit City FC. Earl, do you want the smoke?
Don't ask him that. Dear God, don't ask him that.
So, this is a touchy subject for me. One, because I hate the damn chant. But 2, everyone here knows that I'm a wrestling fan, and there's a certain tag team that uses that as their catchphrase. So, no, I don't want the smoke for United, but I can tell you now, if the Street Profits are asking me if I want the smoke, then yes, I want the smoke.
Jacob, heading into Keyworth Stadium, obviously it's been a big sticking point for the league this year. Keyworth has been a very good place for Detroit City to play. How do you think the friendly confines of a space like that affect United, or do you think it doesn't matter at all?
I don't know. For 4 years now, it seems like we embrace playing on the road more than we do at home as far as getting results. So they're used to it being loud. I think they might even be happy that it's being loud against them, where they can shut them up with a good play. So I don't really see that being an issue. Detroit started off really well. Hasn't quite kept up with how they started and have dropped off. I think they're what now, 6th? Fifth. And so I'm not too worried about it being not too worried about the crowd or the opponent being just overpowering. But it's definitely a game that we could lose. Going on the road against a playoff opponent in the Eastern Conference is obviously a losable game, but I'm not going in going, oh, that's a loss, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I get that. Detroit, they've obviously they came in with a lot of fanfare. They've really been making a name for themselves. Harry's got a point over here talking about the turf. Here we go. Turf is more of a concern, but DCFC has a super thin roster due to injuries. That is, of course, a concern. United is still dealing with injuries as well, but of course, I think our roster is a little bit more fleshed out than theirs is top to bottom. And you look at Detroit's roster, 2 names to me stand out: Antoine Hopino and Steinwasser, the goalkeeper, as guys who have had some really good seasons this year. DCFC is not necessarily the strongest at the back. They do give up a lot of opportunities. But Steinwasser has had to really step up his game this season and is in the running right now for a keeper of the year. Looking at their roster, where do you think there are opportunities for United to take advantage?
You basically covered it. Their midfield also hasn't been super impressive to me. Admittedly, watching midfield play is something that I have to tell myself to do, so I don't focus on it all the time, and it gets lost. But they're just kind of steady in the mid, a little below steady in the back, a little above steady in the front, and that's why they're at where they're at as far as the standings are concerned. So that back line definitely is something that I think can be exploited, and I have a hard time getting worried about our defense, even with a washed center back there. Our defense just doesn't. Nobody smiled at that or anything, really. There's a joke about Kalen Ryden and Seth calling him washed, and implying that he's washed, and nothing. I get stone faced killer from Seth, and then Earl's in La La Land. Damn. I I think the defense is going to be able to handle them. Pittsburgh came in with a pretty good defense or a pretty good offense, and we stymied the majority of what they wanted to do. And so I think I like our chances of maybe getting more than one goal scored. And if that's the case, I don't think we lose. I mean, if we've scored 2 goals this year, we've basically won every game but one. So if we can just get that second goal, we're good. We're fine. But and I think that stays true here. If we get 2 goals, I would almost guarantee 3 points.
Earl, what do you think about Saturday as being the key point for United in this match?
I think just starting fast and starting hot. I mean, obviously scoring a goal early kind of throws the team off their rhythm. So that's one key, is starting quick, scoring quick for sure. I think the second key is holding that early goal and actually walking out, even if it's a 1-0 win, walking out with a 1-0 win without having any kind of scary moments of possibly giving up a tying goal in the 80th minute or something dumb that usually happens. So scoring quick and holding the lead through the end of the game.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right there, Earl. United has always done well when they've scored early. Typically, I have to double check the stats, but I believe we have a better than 50% win rate when we do score first, because and we know that historically United does not play from behind very well. So, a quick goal on the road is going to limit Detroit's options in terms of what they're going to see going forward. They're about middle of the pack in terms of goals scored. They're towards the top of the league and fewest goals conceded. So it could end up being a very defensive battle on Saturday. But I think, like I said, Detroit City gives up a ton of attacking opportunities to opposing clubs, and it's just a matter of whether or not United can take advantage of those. So that being said, Jacob, what is your score prediction for Saturday?
I'm so glad you asked me first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of our matches have finished with this scoreline. I like my odds. I'm going to go 2-1.
All right, Earl, what's yours?
I fucking hate it here. So, first off, before I make my score prediction, can we talk about the fact how I went for 50% this weekend?
You did get the score prediction on Wednesday correct.
So, with that being said, 1-0.
1-0. All right. Harry over in the chat with a 1-1 draw. 2-1, 1-0, 1-1. Yeah. I would like to see us score. I think we can score 2 goals against Detroit. It's just going to be a matter of chance creation. I'm going to say 2-0 United. We're going to see one early and maybe one middle of the way through the second half, I think. So there you go. There are our predictions for this weekend. And you guys both kind of alluded to it early. I think it might have been before the show. And Harry mentioned earlier, apparently there's some drama down I-25.
Yes.
Jacob, you want to fill us in on this?
And over on I-8, is that what it is? This is I love it. I love it so much. Just seeing our 2 rivals in such disarray. You have 2 players rumored, or maybe even more than rumored, to be going out of El Paso. Sebastian Velasquez hasn't been around and is seemingly on his way out. Richie Ryan has asked for a transfer or release. Our friends over at Seriously Loco reporting that Indy has made offers of transfers of money or players, and El Paso hasn't replied to those, which doesn't surprise me at all with Mark Lowry over at Indy. Him wanting to go there or or Lowry wanting to come over there, one or the other doesn't surprise me in the least. But they just got, I believe they just got shellacked by Oakland in their last time out, if I'm not mistaken. And
What
they
was
just,
it? Big ol' high five.
I think it was 4.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty sure it's 4.
But either way, it was not pretty. All in all, actually, they've been like they're still middle of the table. Sorry, middle of the playoffs, anyways. Granted, they have played a lot more games than just about everybody else over there, but they just something seems to be off, and we'll see if they can right the ship and continue to get results, even if the locker room's kind of a disaster. I'm way more excited about what's going on in Phoenix, though.
Real quick before you get to that, apparently, in the lead up for the San Antonio match for El Paso this weekend, apparently, Eder Borelli is going to be out, as well as and Yuma may be out as well. So
yeah, Borelli's got a dislocated shoulder.
yeah,
Yuma's Yuma. I don't know. I think they're almost better when Yuma doesn't play, but that's just me.
But the reason why Ryan wants out is El Paso wanted to take a 30% pay cut.
Yeah, which how you gonna ask like the captain of your team to take? I don't know. It's crazy to me, but we'll see what they do. I have more faith in them making the playoffs this year. Obviously, they're in a much better position than Phoenix is right now, but Phoenix just released another one of their main defenders in Manuel Madrid. Arturo Rodriguez has been out. They sit currently 11th in the Western Conference on 22 points. They do have the least amount of matches played in the Western Conference, are tied with Sacramento and Monterey Bay in that facet of the game. So they have a little bit to turn around.
So,
but man, is their schedule tough coming up.
So they do have a little bit to turn around, but I do have a quote from Phoenix Rising Club Governor Bill Krause.
Yes.
Rick is our guy. We're sticking with him. You guys thought I had something. You guys fucking thought. Anyways, Rick is our guy. We're sticking with him. He's earned the right to coach our team through this period. So we are backing him, maybe even providing him with additional resources. Rick is our guy.
I'm going to address Harry real quick. I didn't say that I was thinking they were going to make the playoffs. I think they're in better position, and I would feel better about them making it than Phoenix. I just don't see Phoenix going on a run. But they could easily fall off and not make it either, which how funny would that be, having both of them miss the playoffs after getting bounced in the first round last year and still talking mad shit to us? That'd be great. Back to Phoenix. That's part of the reason why I don't think Phoenix is going to make the playoffs, is because they're going to keep Rick as the coach. And I don't know why, to be completely honest with you. I'll argue that he led that team to its 4 best years ever. Led them to one season of the best season anybody's ever had in the USL, as far as regular season is concerned, anyways. But it's just clearly not going to work there with Rick there. So keeping Rick, losing Madrid, not having Arturo. There's drama with Sejas. There has been for several weeks about that, injury related, and then just them wondering what the heck's going on. Rick being kind of shady with it. There's giant red flags in both Phoenix and El Paso, and I, for one, am here for it.
So I don't understand. Like, to be honest, I really don't understand how Phoenix keeps Rick. They've won twice since May 7th.
Yep. It's crazy. And you look at the upcoming schedule. They are at Lou City. 3 days later, they host Sacramento. 4 days later, they go to Oakland.
They are closer to the bottom of the table than they are to the nearest playoff spot.
Oh, yeah, by a lot. Then they have Colorado at home, Vegas at home, Orange County on the road, and then El Paso in the what the hell happened to us this year bowl.
So I want to go back to Harry's comment. Harry's comments here real quick. El Paso's fool's goal. They will slide in the standings once teams start to catch up. So my question is, who's going to catch them in the standings?
I will tell you right now.
Because I don't see Rio Grande Valley popping up in there.
Las Vegas and Oakland.
Maybe Oakland. I think Oakland has a better chance than Vegas, but Vegas does still have 3 matches in hand.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if Vegas continues to play the way that they have, I could see them doing it. I think Oakland has an outside shot, but I just don't know if there's going to be enough coming up from the bottom to drag El Paso out of the discussion.
Well, I think the bottom 2 spots probably. Sacramento, I think, will get up in the top 5 with us and San Diego and Colorado and San Antonio and be kind of cemented in a playoff spot. But 6, 7, I could see El Paso, I could see Galaxy, I could see Lights, I could see Roots, I could maybe even see RGV. I wouldn't be completely shocked if Monterey Bay flirted with it. Not saying they get over the line, but I was impressed with how they played against us. And kind of all season they've been like right there, aside from the drubbing that Harry put on. So I could see anybody taking that spot away from El Paso, other than really Phoenix and Orange County and probably Monterey Bay, but probably RGV too, if I'm being completely honest. But Lights in Oakland are definitely right there.
Yeah, no, I know it's close. I just, looking at how the teams are playing, I just don't know. I don't know that I've seen enough from Oakland for me to put them in there. Vegas, I think, have the ability to do it. It's going to come down to what happens in El Paso's in the schedule and with all the issues that they have down there right now. I think that's what it's come down to for them.
Does Phoenix have any chance of making the playoffs too?
No.
They're just done.
Even if they replace Rick this weekend, at the end of this weekend, I don't think they do. Because I just don't think there's enough belief in that team, no matter who's in charge right now, for them to come back.
I don't even see the talent necessarily. Maybe it's because some of the new guys that they brought in and the way they've played this year just hasn't really shown me anything.
The only new guy that's came in and actually made some kind of effective difference is Doniciano. The only reason why I know that name is because he comes from Nashville.
So are you just assuming he's made a difference, or have you watched him make a difference?
From the trolling matches that I've watched of El Paso, he's made a difference.
Okay. I mean, you still have names that are there, right? I mean, you still have Quinn, Sejas, Epps, Calistri, Lambert, Moar, Rodriguez, Hurst, Repetto. I mean, there's still names there that you look at them and you're like, oh, those are good players. They haven't been good this year. And so you kind of have to say, okay, well, how much of that is them and how much of it is Rick or just the vibe in there in general. And so, like you said, I don't even think if they replaced Rick, I don't think that if they replaced Rick 2 weeks ago that they would get it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it would take for Phoenix at this point. Like I said, I think they have talent, but I don't think that they have the motivation or the morale or the belief in themselves or any system between now and the end of the season that's going to help get them over that line. So, especially with the overconfidence that some people believe that they're going to beat Lou City this weekend.
Yeah, when Lou City stomps them tomorrow, I'm going to be thrilled. But I think they have talent. I don't think they have the talent to make up 7 points and jump 4 teams. That's a lot to ask. So, yeah, I could not be happier that those 2 teams in particular are the ones that are blowing up in the middle of the season. While we're meanwhile going out and playing or bringing in guys like Romario Williams and getting healthy Moreno and Weehan back. I'm just thrilled about everything that's going on with those three teams. I wish San Antonio wasn't at the top of the table because we wouldn't have to listen to Harry, but I like Harry, so I'd rather him be up there than Vagina Plaster or Jerry Crybaby Mario.
Let's see. One final topic here. We'll get to this before we do get out of here. Harry, any thoughts on the sub last night with Colorado Springs in the San Diego match? If you missed it, apparently Colorado Springs went into the match with only 12 players on the team sheet due to some injury concerns. Colorado also went on to pick up 2 red cards during the course of that match and lost to Loyal by a final of 3-0. I mean, how do you get to a point where you only have 12 players available? Like, do they run that small of a squad that they can't put someone else in there, like some younger guys in? But this is, I thought that was just embarrassing for Colorado.
Well, Harry alluded to it on Twitter earlier. They asking about an academy, and they don't have their own academy. They brought in some players from some semi-pro league there for the night. It looks like their roster is fairly good sized. Me and Seth talked about it a little bit earlier. They play Friday. You have a few dings here and there. They're just, I think they played Friday, and after the game Friday, they were just like, you know what we're gonna do? We're just not gonna give a damn about the game on Monday, and it'll be a schedule loss for my basketball fans that actually follow basketball, know all about schedule losses. And that's I think what it was. They went out, they took care of business Friday against Los Dos. They said, Loyal, we're waving the white flag. And until I see them, we'll see them Friday again on the 22nd against Charleston, hosting Charleston. If they lose that game by a substantial amount, or even if they lose it at all, maybe I'll bat my eyes at it. But until then, I'm just chalking that up to a fluky loss, basically.
If a depleted switch, if even a depleted switchback squad loses to Battery this year, like, that's a problem.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think Harry has an interesting question here. Colorado switchbacks have been around since 2014. How do they not have an academy in place at this point?
Well, they've been around since 2014, but for 5 of those years, they were associated with the Rapids. So they would get players from the Rapids organization, probably above them and below them. So they didn't need an academy team then. And I don't know if they ever saw that going away or thought about it going away. So now they probably should get on that and get it started. But
so the statement that came from the club, I don't know if you guys follow.
Well, they canceled their academy.
I don't know if you guys
Harry
follow
with the
the Switchbacks FC on Facebook or not.
No.
If you don't, I got a quote for you from them. The Colorado Springs Switchbacks players and the staff have been warriors the past few weeks as they fought through a heavy schedule and multiple serious and chronic injuries. The team is once again facing an outbreak of injury and illness after a tight turnaround and will be playing with a compromised team. We covet and value your support as Switchbacks fans as we face another unexpected challenge on the pitch tonight.
Oh.
Yeah, I had seen that last night on Twitter, and it just that's what makes me say that it is what it is. We'll see. Thank you for correcting me, Harry.
Harry, we appreciate you being here. That's actually going to do it for us here this evening. A lot covered on tonight's show. Be sure to check us out across social medias. Saturday night, Detroit City. I know we're excited. Do you guys have any final thoughts before Jacob gets us out of here? Take that as no. All right, Jacob.
All righty. 2 things. One, if you want to laugh, go follow a few people in Phoenix Rising Twitter, and you will get some laughs because of what's going on over there. Harry, glad to have you back. Glad you stayed for the whole show. I know it's late over there. Hadn't seen you in a while in the chat, aside from a few opening remarks. So to have you here still, very impressive, and I appreciate it greatly. Everybody else that was in the chat, of course, appreciate you guys. We'll be back next Tuesday. Only have one match to talk about and only have to preview one match, which is nice. Nice little reprieve from this Saturday, Wednesday stuff that we've had going on. And hopefully we get 3 points there in Detroit and can come back and celebrate on the podcast. And we hope that you guys come and join us. And until next Tuesday at 7 o'clock and 9 o'clock, why did I say 7 o'clock? I'm thinking that's not even West Coast time. I don't know what that is. 9 o'clock next week. Come join us. Thanks. Somos Unidos.